Have you ever felt that tiny knot of apprehension when someone looks your way and asks, can you introduce yourself in English? Maybe there's a momentary mental block.
Oh, definitely.
Feeling of being put on the spot. If so, you're definitely in good company.
That's a really universal experience, I think. Those initial moments of connecting in a new language can feel a little exposed.
Yeah.
And that's precisely what we're exploring in this deep dive today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our goal is to equip you with the core elements and, practical strategies for confidently introducing yourself and even others in English. Mm-hmm. Think about all the scenarios where this comes up: meeting new people, starting a job, joining a class, those sometimes tricky online meetings. Being able to present yourself clearly and comfortably is such a fundamental skill.
It really is. And our mission today is to really distill the most crucial insights from our resources to give you a clear pathway forward. We want you to feel well prepared, not overwhelmed by the prospect of English introductions.
Okay, let's unpack this. And it all begins with something that seems simple, yet is so vital. Greetings.
Ah, yes.
Our source uses a really evocative phrase, the magic of greetings, to describe this, which I think really captures their importance.
It's a fitting description, isn't it? Greetings truly are the first point of contact. They initiate conversations, they demonstrate respect, and they immediately help the other person feel seen and welcome. It's like the verbal equivalent of an open gesture.
Right. And the great thing is there's a set of really common and widely understood greetings. We're talking about hello, hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Yeah, those are the main ones.
These are pretty much your go-to options across the English-speaking world. While these are universal, the level of formality can vary a bit. Hello might be more fitting in a formal situation, whereas hi is generally more casual.
They are indeed very widely used. And it's also important to remember the common courtesy in response. If someone greets you with, hi, how are you? A very natural way to keep the conversation flowing is to reply, I'm good, thank you. How about you?
Simple, polite, keeps it moving.
Exactly.
Now, here's a little pointer that might seem obvious, but it's worth emphasizing. Good night isn't a greeting.
Ah, good point.
That's specifically for saying goodbye at night or, before going to sleep.
Yeah.
So keep that one for the end of an interaction.
Right.
Using goodnight as a greeting can sound a little strange.
That's a really important distinction to make. Yeah. And speaking of building your confidence, one of our resources offered a particularly nice practice tip.
Oh.
Make it a habit to stand in front of a mirror each morning and say something positive like, good morning, I'm ready to speak English today, or, something similar.
I really like that. It combines a bit of positive self-talk with just getting more comfortable hearing yourself speak English out loud.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the greetings covered. Now, how do we actually introduce ourselves? Let's get into the step-by-step of that.
Okay. The key here is to aim for a structured yet natural delivery. According to our material, a good self-introduction typically includes a few key elements.
Right.
Naturally, you start with a greeting, then clearly state your name. After that, it's helpful to provide some context by mentioning your origin, your city, if you're within the country, or your city and country if you're abroad.
That makes sense as a starting point for providing basic info. But are there situations where you might choose not to immediately share your origin?
That's a thoughtful question. Maybe in very formal settings, like a high-stakes interview where the focus is solely on your professional qualifications.
Right.
Immediately launching into your origin might be seen as slightly less relevant initially, but honestly, in most everyday interactions and even many professional intros, it's a natural way to build connection.
Okay, interesting nuance there. So what comes after stating your origin?
Next, you typically talk about your current situation. Are you a student? Employed? If you're working, briefly mentioning your role and maybe your main responsibilities gives people a good understanding of what you do.
Got it.
And finally, you can share a little about your hobbies or interests. Now, the level of detail here really depends on the context.
Right.
As our source notes, in a quick academic interview, keep it brief. But in more informal settings or maybe job-related interactions where it's relevant.
Like company culture or something.
Exactly. Or previous experience, you might elaborate a bit more. And, beyond just personal connection, highlighting hobbies that show soft skills like teamwork from playing sports or creativity from painting, that can be a plus in professional introductions too.
That's a really insightful point about tailoring your hobbies to the situation. Great tip. Our material provides a couple of excellent examples to illustrate these different types of introductions. Let's look at the first one, a simple introduction.
Hello, my name is Rafi. I'm from USA. I work as a sales assistant in a clothing shop. In my free time, I like watching football and listening to music. I'm learning English to speak with international customers.
Yeah, that's a very clear and to-the-point example. It includes all the essential bits, greeting, name, origin, current role, couple interests, and the reason for learning English, which adds a nice personal touch.
And here's the second example, more of a student introduction. Hi, I'm Anika. I'm 17 years old and I live in New York City. I'm a student at ABC College. I enjoy reading books, drawing, and playing badminton. I want to improve my English to study abroad one day.
This is perfect for a student introduction. It includes age, a specific location, what they're studying, their hobbies, and importantly, their future goal linked to English.
Yeah, both of these examples are straightforward, spoken clearly, and as our source rightly emphasizes, delivered with a smile. That makes a huge difference in how you're received.
Absolutely. A smile really can enhance that first impression. Now, even for those who feel relatively confident in their English, there are some common errors that tend to surface in self-introductions. It's helpful to be aware of these.
Yes, definitely. Even more advanced learners can occasionally make these slips. Our resources highlight a few key ones. For instance, saying, myself, Rafi.
Ah, yeah, I've heard that.
It's grammatically incorrect. The correct ways are, my name is Rafi, or simply, I'm Rafi.
That makes sense. More direct. What's another common mistake?
Another one we often see is, I am doing job.
Right.
The more natural and accurate alternatives are, I have a job, or even better, I work as a whatever your role is.
Flows much better.
Okay.
And one more that our sources pointed out.
Yes, the common tendency to say, I am like football. The correct and frankly more natural way to express that preference is just, I like football.
Simpler. Got it.
It's more concise, more direct.
These are really useful to keep in mind. And I appreciate the encouraging message from our material here. It's okay to make mistakes. Just don't repeat them. Learn, fix, and grow.
Absolutely.
That's such a valuable perspective on language learning in general.
It really is. Mistakes are just, part of the learning journey. The key is to acknowledge them, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Now, let's shift gears slightly. What if you're not introducing yourself, but you need to introduce someone else?
Oh yeah, that's a really important point. That comes up quite often too. What's the basic structure for introducing someone else in English?
Well, the fundamental structure is quite simple, actually. You would typically say something along the lines of, this is my friend name.
Okay.
Then he, she's from location, he's who works as an occupation, he, she enjoys hobbies, something like that.
Simple enough.
Obviously, you'll use the appropriate pronoun, he or she, depending on the person you're introducing.
And our source also reminds us about using his or her to show possession when introducing someone.
Right.
So that's right. For example, his job is very interesting, or maybe her hobby is painting.
Exactly. It's a natural way to add a little more detail and personalize the introduction when you're introducing someone else. Now let's move on to something quite personal. Your name. People will often want to know more about it.
Right. Your name is such a core part of your identity. So what are some common and useful questions people might ask about your name?
Our resources list several common ones. Things like, what's your name? Obviously. How do you spell your name? Is that your full name? And sometimes, do you have a nickname?
Okay. Standard stuff.
Yeah.
And what are some effective ways to answer these questions?
Well, for what's your name, a straightforward, my name is your name, or I'm your name, works perfectly.
Easy.
If someone asks, how do you spell your name? You just spell it out clearly. Like, it's spelled A-N-N-A.
Right.
If they asked about your full name, you can reply with, my full name is full name, and maybe add, you can call me nickname, if you have one and want them to use it. Similarly, to answer, do you have a nickname? You can say, yes, people call me nickname, or just, no, I don't have a nickname.
Clear and very practical answers.
Right?
Now, another key aspect of introducing yourself often involves talking about your profession, what you do for work.
Yes, absolutely. Your work often provides significant insight into your daily life and routines. Our material gives a good example here.
Okay.
I work as a graphic designer at a media company. I design posters, social media ads, and logos. It's creative and exciting work. See, that offers a clear picture of the person's job and even a little glimpse into how they feel about it.
Yeah, adds personality.
Yeah.
And to help us put this into practice, our source provides a useful list of various job titles, including teacher, driver, chef, student, accountant, tailor, nurse, receptionist, technician, and business owner.
Good range.
It encourages you, the listener, to think about your own current job or maybe future career goals and actually practice speaking about them aloud.
That active recall and verbal practice are so valuable for building both fluency and confidence. Really key.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Now, let's transition to a more personal and often quite engaging topic. Hobbies and interests.
Yes. This is where you really have the opportunity to showcase your personality and connect with others on a more personal level, isn't it?
Totally.
Why are hobbies such an important part of introductions?
Because they reveal who you are beyond just your work or your studies.
Right.
They offer others a glimpse into what brings you joy, what you're passionate about. And this helps in building connections that go beyond just, superficial information.
Our material offers some really natural and friendly sentence starters for discussing hobbies. Things like, in my free time, I like. My hobbies are, I enjoy. I'm interested in, I love, and sometimes I.
Yeah, they are indeed very natural ways to begin talking about your interests. And there's a nice example provided too. In my free time, I enjoy painting and listening to podcasts. I also love taking long walks in the evening. It helps me relax. Sometimes I write poems when I'm in a creative mood.
That's quite descriptive. Gives a good sense of the person.
And for those who might be looking for inspiration or just want to expand their vocabulary, our source includes a fantastic list of popular hobbies, ranging from reading and singing to cooking, gardening, playing the guitar, watching movies, dancing, drawing, hiking, playing cricket, learning languages, playing chess, photography, and writing stories.
Wow. Quite a list.
Yeah.
There's truly something for everyone there.
Exactly. And there's a really helpful tip in there for those who might be a bit reserved or shy.
Yeah.
Discussing your hobbies is an excellent way to keep a conversation going because people are often genuinely interested in what excites you. It can be a real catalyst for further conversation.
That's a great point. Okay, so we've covered the foundational elements. Now, how do we effectively apply all of this in real-world scenarios? Our source has a dedicated section on learn through practice with real conversations.
Right. This is where the theory becomes practical skill. Reviewing sample conversations allows you to see how introductions naturally unfold. We have conversation 1 where 2 students meet for the first time, exchanging greetings, names, where they're from, what they study, and their hobbies. Pretty standard stuff.
Then we have conversation 2, which takes place in a workplace setting. Sarah introduces herself to Jason after joining the marketing team. They exchange greetings, talk about their roles, and even offer help.
Yeah, a bit more professional, but still friendly. And lastly, conversation 3 is set in an online English-speaking group, where Zakia from Bangladesh introduces herself to Kevin from the Philippines.
Okay.
They share their backgrounds, whether they're working or studying, and discover a shared interest in learning English. Shows how it works online, too.
These examples are so valuable because they clearly illustrate how the various components we've discussed, come together in realistic dialogues.
Right.
And the practice suggestion is fantastic. Take these conversations, substitute your own details, names, hobbies, location, whatever, and record yourself speaking both roles.
Yeah.
It's like performing a mini dialogue with yourself to build your fluency.
It's a highly effective method, honestly, for increasing your comfort level with the language and also understanding different conversational roles. Now, our source also provides some fun activities to practice introductions, which makes the learning process a bit more enjoyable and engaging.
I really like this section. Activity 1 is straightforward. Record yourself giving a 30-second self-introduction. Then set a reminder to review it after a few days. Repeating this weekly allows you to track your progress over time, which is really motivating.
Exactly. And activity 2 is a creative and fun exercise. Introduce a celebrity as if they were a friend.
Okay.
The example given is introducing Cristiano Ronaldo, mentioning his background, job, interests. It encourages you to apply the structure in a playful way.
Activity 3 sounds like a great icebreaker. Playing 2 truths and 1 lie about yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
This not only helps you practice vocabulary related to your interests, but also sharpens your listening skills and builds confidence as you share and interact.
Definitely good for groups. Activity 4 is a more personal, reflective practice. Writing a daily journal entry where you introduce yourself in slightly different ways each day. Experimenting with details, sentence structures.
Nice. And activity 5 is called the mirror challenge, where you introduce yourself while looking in the mirror every morning. Start with your name, then gradually add 1 new piece of information each day, like your job, a hobby, a goal.
It's a gradual and consistent way to build a more comprehensive self-introduction. All of these activities are designed to make practice less intimidating and, more easily integrated into your daily routine.
Making it manageable.
Exactly. Now, as we near the end of our deep dive, it's crucial to address any lingering feelings of nervousness or maybe self-doubt.
Yeah, that's important.
Our source has a really encouraging section titled Motivation You Can Do This.
This part is so vital. It acknowledges that you might still feel a bit anxious or compare yourself to those who seem more fluent.
We all do that sometimes.
And it delivers a direct and powerful message. Yes, you will reach that level. But the crucial point is that it emphasizes growth through consistent effort, not through aiming for immediate perfection.
That's absolutely right. It reminds us that learning English is a process, much like learning our first language, right?
Yeah.
It unfolds step by step, word by word, sentence by sentence. Nobody expects flawless delivery.
Well,
But your effort and your willingness to try are always valued and respected.
there are some Really empowering self-affirmations in this section too, like, I don't need perfect grammar to speak.
So true.
I don't need a fancy accent to be understood. I don't need to know every word to have a conversation. And this one is so simple, yet so profound. I just need to open my mouth and try.
These affirmations are incredibly powerful. They help to shift your focus from some unattainable ideal of perfection to the simple, achievable act of trying and making consistent progress.
Every little bit helps.
Every introduction you make, no matter how brief or imperfect, is a step forward on your learning journey.
So, to quickly recap our deep dive today, we've explored the significance of greetings, the key information to include when introducing yourself, your name, origin, current status, hobbies, common pitfalls to watch out for, how to introduce someone else effectively, and a whole range of practical practice methods and engaging activities.
And now it truly is your turn to shine. Our material concludes with a clear call to action. Write down your self-introduction, record yourself speaking it, practice with others whenever you get the chance, share what you've learned, maybe even teach someone else.
Yeah.
The more you actively use your voice, the stronger and more confident you will become.
It's so important to remember that you are not navigating this learning process alone. There's a vast global community of English language learners out there, all striving for clearer, more confident communication.
You're definitely not alone.
And as our source reminds us in a very relatable way, even those who sound incredibly fluent today were once in the exact same position you might be in, now perhaps feeling a little nervous and uncertain.
We all start somewhere. So let's continue to grow together, one sentence at a time, one learned mistake at a time, and one success at a time. Keep speaking, keep putting yourself out there, and never lose your determination.
Well said. And here's a final thought for you to consider. In what unexpected ways might mastering this seemingly simple skill of introduction open doors and create new connections in both your personal and your professional life? Think about the possibilities that confident communication can unlock.